What's up guys, Pedro here with Syzygy Coffee. Today we're going to be bringing you another tutorial, this time with the Kalita wave. So let's get started. So I've noticed that over the past few years, there's been an increase in people interested in the Kalita wave. And to tell you the truth, I've been using it for a bit over a year now. And I can definitely say it is worth the hype. So a little bit of history on the Kalita wave. It is a Japanese brand called Kalita. They manufacture other coffee equipment. They actually started in the 1950s and they really hit it out of the ballpark with the Kalita. It's a growing favorite among coffee enthusiasts like myself, and many people who I know are jumping into the Kalita bandwagon. So essentially, it is an interesting product simply because it is so simple in terms of design and the filter itself. We'll go into a quick overview and then jump right into the tutorial. So let's talk about the Kalita a little bit. Quick overview. This one, the one that I used, is all metal design. This is the Wave 180, the Wave 180. I'm guessing the name, I really haven't searched much into it, but I'm guessing the name has to do with how the filter itself is wavy, right? Supposedly it creates a more consistent flow. And you have a flat bottom, if you can see that right there. Being a flat bottom, you'll get a very consistent drip out of those three holes you see at the very bottom. So yeah, that's essentially how it works. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Again, I've been using it for about a year or so, a little bit more probably, and it is without a doubt my favorite way to brew coffee. The reason is very simple. You have different filters that either are going to retain a lot of flavor, like what happens with the Chemex. It retains a lot of oils, all those essential oils that create flavor whenever you brew coffee, right? So it turns out that you're drinking a cup of coffee that's a little bit bland or boring. Some people like that. I personally like that. There's a room for that. But if you're interested in savoring the coffee itself, the best way is to get something that extracts a little bit more. Now, if you go to the other end of the spectrum, you'll get something like a French press. The French press tends to over extract, and if you're not doing it correctly, but it is a great way to brew coffee and to taste a lot of those tasting notes within the coffee bean. So if you're looking at hazelnut, plum, citrusy, whatever that may be that's described in the back of the bag, you'll highlight that with a French press. However, with the Kalita, you get something right in the middle. So the best of both worlds, really. And it is an amazing product. It is very well built. It is cheap on the filters themselves. And I really, really do enjoy brewing with the Kalita wave. So let's get started. So let's quickly go over what you'll need in order to brew with the Kalita wave. Of course, the Kalita wave itself, I use the all metal one. This is the Kalita 180. Filter. Get the Kalita branded filters. It is the best one out there. I'll go into details why. You can use a mug, but we use this little thing. Just put the Kalita on top and just brew. And it's great if you are serving more than one person. You know, if you are drinking for yourself, more power to you. The one thing we do use is a Gooseneck kettle. This one is by Fellow. Amazing product, amazing company. Temperature control. If you can't temp control on your kettle, bring the water to a boil, open it up, wait a couple of minutes, and that should be good enough temperature. But I highly recommend you get a thermometer for it. scale, this guy right here, I'll link it down below. Amazing product, pretty straightforward. It's rough, it's cheap, it's like under 20 bucks, cheap. It's been with me for 4 years, and all I have to do is change the batteries. I've tested it and it is still precise. Amazing product. And of course, some high quality coffee beans. We're using the Colombian Finca La Rochela, so the La Rochela estate. This is a washed bean, our bestseller, by the way. And quick shout out to our new box where the coffee is going to be shipping on. So, light message here from Ines and I, and Easter egg. That right there is the Saturn V that took men to the moon in the Apollo missions. So, out of this world. So now that you have everything in place in order to brew your coffee, pretty straightforward. All you have to do is a little bit of prep work. We're using 20 grams of coffee. That's about as much as for one individual, one person to drink. So that's 20 grams of coffee, and we are doing a 1:16 ratio. That means that you multiply the 20 times 16, come up with 320 milliliters of water. 1:16 ratio means 1 gram of coffee for every 16 milliliters of water. So the other thing to keep in mind is start heating your kettle. Get it to 90 degrees Celsius. That is our starting point. It is the temperature that we've tested that works the best. Finally, keep in mind that you are going to be blooming the coffee and then following that up with 4 different pours. Bloom is when you wet the beans up a little bit to ensure that they expand and they release a lot of CO2 gases, among other things. And then when you pour it again, it's going to allow that water to flow more evenly and more loosely within the grounds. So make sure to bloom your coffee. So pretty straightforward. Bloom is going to be 60 milliliters of water. That is because we do a 1:3 ratio on the bloom. And then the remaining pours are going to be equivalent between them until you reach 320 milliliters. So let's get started here. Freshly ground coffee, again, 20 grams. You'll notice something very interesting right now is that I do not, turn this on, pre-wet my Kalita filter, and that is one of the most amazing things about the Kalita wave. I don't know what the Japanese, how the Japanese make these filters, but it does not release any papery taste. But you don't need to rinse it. Can you rinse it? Yeah, if that gives you peace of mind, but you don't need it. Anyways, see here, 20 grams of the coffee, hit the nail on the head. Now let's do the bloom. I like to use the calculator on my phone just to keep track of it. 20 times 3 for the bloom, that's 60, plus 65 for the first pour. So let's start off with the 60. Start the timer. I like to make the entire pour in the first 10 seconds. And then each pour starts every 30 seconds. So I poured it into the Kalita in the first 10 seconds. Now I'm going to wait until it reaches 30 seconds, where I'm going to start my second pour. The second pour is going to be 65 milliliters. Now the total it's going to be showing up on the scale is around 125. 30 seconds. Now I start my pour. Look at the color. Beautiful. You can already smell it. 65 more. Next pour should get me to 195 or 190. And here we go. What I like to do is start on the sides and make work my way inwards with a centered pour. 5. Next pour is starting at 1 minute 30, and we should reach 255 milliliters of water. There we go. Again, sides, work my way inwards, center pour. Again, I try to be consistent and keep the 30-second intervals and pour that entirety of that set, if you want to call it that, in the first 10 seconds. And this is our final pour, all the way to 320 milliliters. It smells amazing, by the way. And that's it. All you have to do now is just wait for it to brew and enjoy. Take a look at here. Look at that. It's beautiful. Clear, no residue. Look at the coffee bouncing on top of the surface of the coffee. So that's it, guys. All you have to do is wait for it to finish brewing. Now all you have to do is, once it's done brewing, you'll see that dripping becomes slower and slower until there's no coffee left to be brewed. Just remove the Kalita and you should be able to take the filter with you and throw it out. Give your coffee a swirl if you want, in order to mix any remaining oils that may be left on the surface. And that's pretty much it. Just serve your coffee and enjoy. The one we have here is by Dragon Glass. It is a little astronaut, which I think is amazing. It's beautiful. With a little NASA patch and an Artemis mission patch, which is the upcoming mission to the moon. Enjoy. And that's it. That is how you brew on the Kalita Wave. It is the recipe that we've been using, and it is quite amazing. Very easy to follow. Once you get those numbers down in your head, you won't need a calculator, just a timer. But if you are making different size servings for different people, just pull out your calculator, start adding up, and it's very simple. Now, if you notice that with your Kalita, the brewing is a little bit watery, I would suggest just simply fine-tuning the grind size. So if it's a little bit watery, make the grind size a little bit finer to allow a little bit more extraction. And the other way is true. If the coffee is a little bit too harsh and bitter, that means it's over extracting. So turn the dial up and make the grind size a little bit bigger, a little bit coarser, and you should be good to go. Just play around with it. You'll get it. You won't get it in the first try, or maybe in even the second or third. But once you start fine tuning, you'll get a delicious cup of coffee, perfectly balanced. It really highlights the flavor profile of the coffee that you are brewing. The coffee that we use is, since it's specialty grade, we want to make sure that every single tasting note is noticeable. And one of the ways we've noticed that is true is through the Kalita Wave. Pretty much it, guys. I do appreciate your time. Leave a comment on what you would like to see next. If I missed anything on this video, if you want to see something improved, or if you have your own brewing method, please let me know. And also make sure to follow us on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, of course here on YouTube. A subscription and a like would be fantastic. And let me know what you'd like to see next. Appreciate you guys. As always, keep looking up. Thank you.